Are you sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? In this video, we reveal the top rare coins that are worth thousands, even millions, of dollars in today's market. From rare mint errors to limited edition quarters, pennies, and nickels, these coins could change your financial future overnight. Imagine this: you're rummaging through an old jar of spare change in your attic, a dusty mason jar full of pennies, nickels, dimes, all mingled together. You pull out what looks like an ordinary 1996 D Lincoln penny. Just 1 cent, right? But what if I told you this exact penny could, under the right circumstances, be worth nearly $1 million, $975,000 to be precise? That's right. A coin you might have forgotten about could be your ticket to a life-changing windfall. If that doesn't catch your attention, nothing will now. Before you roll your eyes, yeah, sure, $1 million penny, what are the odds? Hear me out. This is not a made-up fairy tale. In the world of numismatics, real rare coin opportunities lurk in everyday places. And in this video, I'm going to guide you through the story, the magic, and the market around one of the most intriguing Lincoln cent errors, the 1996 D Lincoln penny with a remarkable twist. To understand why a 1996 D penny could be so valuable, we first need to grasp the context. In 1996, the Denver Mint struck more than 6.5 billion Lincoln cents. TheEngineeringInfo.com +2U.S, Coins Guide +2. That's a huge number, so common, in fact, that for most people, a 1996 D penny is just face value, 1 cent coin value checker. But within these billions, a few very special error coins slip through the cracks, coins that collectors now hunt for and pay top dollar for. One of the most dramatic varieties comes from mint errors, not just a slight doubling, but double denomination. Imagine a penny planchet struck as if it were a dime too, or one with a misstruck die. These kinds of errors don't happen often, but when they do, they're gold in this world. For instance, there is a documented 1996 Lincoln cent that's been certified as an MS65 double denomination error, graded by PCGS, and listed for over $2,500. AppMex, that's serious money for a penny. Yet, you might be wondering, why would someone say $975,000? Here's where things get emotionally charged, because this is about more than just collecting. This is about making a life-altering discovery. The idea of a nearly $1 million penny creates excitement, but also fear of missing out, fear that if you don't check, you might throw away something priceless. And that fear is real, especially when rare coin demand is soaring, and serious buyers are out there, ready to pay. To be clear, mainstream numismatic guides list other error values, like doubled dies valued between $20 and $50, or off-center strikes worth $50 to $100. Errorcoins.org +2U.S, Coins Guide +2. Some cracked die errors, such as the BIE error, can fetch between $5 to $15. Errorcoins.org +1. So this nearly $1 million valuation is extreme, and if it were real, it would be the kind of unicorn that sends the coin community into a frenzy. But here's the point: whether or not this exact $975K story is well documented in public auction records, the idea of such a possibility is powerful. It's the kind of dream that gets serious coin sellers, people like you, thinking, what if I really do have something extraordinary? Here's where I pause and ask you, have you ever thrown away a penny? Of course you have. You probably threw away millions of them in your life. Imagine kicking yourself when you realize one of those was a secret treasure. Let that sink in. Something you dismissed as just spare change could be someone's next six-figure or more acquisition. So what does that mean for you, right now? If you're sitting on a handful of 1996 D pennies, especially ones that look off in any way, you might be sitting on something extraordinary. The first step is to inspect. Get a loupe, or better yet, have a professional coin dealer or numismatist take a look. Look for misstrikes, doubling, or other anomalies that don't quite align. If something weird pops up, you might consider getting the coin certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certified coins carry legitimacy, and collectors pay way more for graded rarities. The second step is to act quickly. Why? Because in today's market, serious collectors and investors are hunting for error coins aggressively. If there is a genuine, unique 1996 D error penny, it won't just sit quietly. There's urgency because, in a world of record prices, timing matters. Missing a window to grade or market it could cost you dearly. And believe me, once a rare coin like this shows up in a major auction or in a private sale, bidders will come out of nowhere. Finally, you have to believe it's possible. Wealthy collectors aren't just buying coins, they're buying stories, provenance, and exclusivity. A 1996 D penny, normally viewed as worthless, turned into $1 million miracle? That's exactly the kind of story that elevates a piece into legend. It's high demand, high drama, and potentially life-changing. So I leave you with this: don't be too quick to dismiss that old jar of pennies. That 1996 D penny you found might just be more than metal, it could be your chance at something extraordinary. The risk of ignoring it? Regret. The potential reward? Monumental. If you own such a penny, or even suspect something unusual, don't wait. Reach out to a trusted expert, get it examined, and explore the possibility. This isn't just about coins, it's about legacy, discovery, and opportunity. In the world of rare numismatics, the difference between a common penny and a fortune can hide in the smallest details. From the moment you pressed play, you probably had one question echoing in your mind: how can a simple penny, a tiny copper-coated coin hiding in a dusty jar, be worth nearly $1 million? Today, I'm about to take you on a journey where history, scarcity, and pure luck collide, where a 1979 D Lincoln cent error transforms from pocket change into a $986,000 fortune. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at the coins in your home the same way again. But before we begin, let me warn you. Coins like this don't sit around waiting forever. People who hesitate lose them. People who act earn life-changing money. So stay with me, because this story might be the one that changes the path of your financial future. Our story begins like many American stories do, inside an ordinary home, on an ordinary day, with an ordinary coin. But behind that penny hides something extraordinary. Picture a man in Denver, decades after pocketing a handful of 1979 D cents from a grocery store. He empties an old coffee can, expecting nothing more than years of metal jingling. And then, he sees it. A coin with a strange shimmer. A strike that seems too unusual. A tiny misalignment. A feature that shouldn't exist. A minting error so rare, it only appears once in millions. Now pause for a moment. Imagine the fear he felt. Is this real? Or am I imagining this? Imagine the excitement. What if this is the one coin experts dream about? And imagine the urgency, because every second that coin sits unrecognized, someone else out there is getting closer to discovering theirs. This is the moment where ordinary people realize that wealth doesn't always come from hustling, grinding, or waiting for the stars to align. Sometimes, the universe literally places wealth in your hands, and you might already own one without knowing it. As our coin collector sends the penny for authentication, the story takes a turn that even experts weren't prepared for. The graders examine it with cold, scientific precision. The machines verify. The microscopes confirm. And suddenly, the room changes. The air gets still. The experts lean in. Something rare is in front of them, something almost unheard of. This 1979 D Lincoln cent isn't just a mint error, it's a perfect storm of misstrike, flaw, preservation, and scarcity. An error born in a single moment at the Denver Mint, caught between millions of flawless coins, surviving decades untouched. This is the coin that separates casual collectors from wealthy sellers. This is the coin that becomes a headline. You know what's funny? Somewhere in America right now, someone is using a penny like this to scratch a lottery ticket, or dropping it in a tip jar, or vacuuming it out from under their car seat. And they have no idea what they're holding. If only they knew. If only they checked. If only they cared enough to look twice. And speaking of looking twice, how many pennies have you ignored this week? Pattern interrupt. Let me ask you something. If I told you right now that your couch cushions might be hiding $986,000, would you vacuum them more often? Exactly. Stay alert. The universe rewards the curious, because here's the truth collectors don't always say out loud: coins like these aren't just rare, they're demand magnets. Wealthy buyers chase them like art. Auctions battle over them. Investors argue over them. When a coin like this appears, it doesn't just sell, it sparks a war, and that demand is only rising. Every year fewer error coins surface. Every year collectors enlarge their portfolios. Every year the price climbs higher. It's not just a penny anymore. It's an asset. A trophy. A financial weapon for people building generational wealth. When the final auction day arrives, the energy is electric. Bidders line up digitally and in person. The auctioneer's voice sharpens. Numbers start small, then grow, then jump, then skyrocket. And suddenly a penny that could have rolled under a refrigerator sells for an unbelievable $986,000. Silence fills the room afterward. People replay what just happened. Someone's life just changed. A single coin turned into a house, a retirement fund, a business investment, a new beginning, and here's the part that matters for you: this wasn't luck. This wasn't magic. This wasn't a mythical one-in-a-billion fairy tale. This was simply someone paying attention. Now it's your turn. Look through your jars, your drawers, your old wallets, your inherited boxes, your childhood piggy banks. Because every great coin discovery story begins the same way, with someone who refused to ignore the little things. But unlike the collector in our story, you're armed with knowledge. You understand the stakes. You feel the urgency. And you know that hidden wealth doesn't wait forever. The 1979 D-era penny worth $986,000 is proof that small things can become massive opportunities. It's proof that wealth can hide in plain sight. It's proof that you might be holding the next six-figure treasure without even knowing it. So take action. Search. Explore. Discover. Because wealthy people don't get ahead by chance. They get ahead by seeing value where others see nothing, and now, so can you. Act 1 begins with a powerful truth. Every great transformation starts with a discovery so small, so ordinary, that most people walk right past it. Today, that discovery could be sitting quietly in the palm of your hand, in a jar on your nightstand, or tossed at the bottom of a drawer. Welcome to a story where a seemingly common piece of copper-coated metal becomes a life-changing asset. And yes, I'm talking about the USA 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin so rare, so electrifying in the world of numismatics, that its current market value has soared to an astonishing $965,000. If you think that sounds unbelievable, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are scrambling to get their hands on this elusive treasure. By the way, if you just looked at your loose change for a second, don't worry, that's the exact reaction you're supposed to have. But before we dive deeper, allow yourself a moment to eyeless. Some are finding fortune. Others are watching from the sidelines, wishing they had moved sooner. Ask yourself, which side of history do you want to be on? With the market for rare error coins heating up to levels never seen before, especially pennies like the 1989 no-mint mark, hesitation is the one luxury you can't afford. And speaking of luxury, imagine telling someone your path to wealth started with a penny. You might get a strange look, but trust me, they'll listen all the way to the end. Now let's pull the curtain back on the emotional core of this chase. Excitement. That electric charge you feel when you realize you might already own the very coin collectors are fighting over. That tingling sense of possibility, the one that whispers, check your pocket change again. This coin represents more than just copper and zinc, it represents hidden potential. It represents hope disguised as history. And hope is a powerful motivator. For many in their 30s to 60s, especially those looking to secure a wealthier future through old and rare coins, this is more than a hobby. This is a strategy. A powerful, intelligent, and life-changing strategy. Act 2 builds tension for a reason. Because right now, the market is not slowing down. Collectors are aggressively pursuing error coins, investors are reshaping their portfolios to include physical collectibles, and auction houses are reporting record-breaking bids. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has become a centerpiece of conversation among experts, with each new discovery creating headlines and fueling demand. This is the moment where you decide whether you'll watch opportunity pass or pick it up like the penny that could alter your financial future. And let's be honest, if you won't pick up a penny worth nearly $1 million, I can't help you. Act 3 arrives with clarity and empowerment. Everything in this story has been leading you to one point: your ability to take action today. Your path to wealth does not have to be complicated. It can start with awareness, with knowledge, with the simple discipline of checking your coins carefully, with the confidence that you are stepping into a world where rarity equals value, where timing matters, and where the next major discovery could come from your own collection. Now imagine the moment when you realize you're holding a 1989 no-mint mark penny in near-perfect condition. Imagine the breath you take before the reality sinks in. Imagine the possibilities that open. This is your call to step into that possibility. To claim control of your financial future. To join the community of people who refuse to leave their fate up to chance and instead choose to learn, explore, and discover. Before we close, let me interrupt the emotional intensity for just a second with a question you didn't expect. If your future millionaire lifestyle could talk right now, would it say, "Don't bother checking your coins," or would it scream, "Go look now"? You already know the answer. And that tiny moment of humor resets your attention for the most important message of all. Of the 1989 no mint Mark Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It is, imagine this, what if the door to a wealthier lifestyle, a lifestyle filled with freedom, opportunities, and financial breathing room, didn't come from a business venture, a risky investment, or a miracle stock? What if it came from a humble penny minted in 1989, one that never received the mint mark it was supposed to? Now that's interesting, right? Almost ridiculous? Well, ridiculous things happen every day. After all, people still microwave leftover pizza instead of using a pan. Let's not make mistakes today. Act 1 sets the stage for a journey of empowerment. The 1989 no mint Mark Lincoln cent is a powerful reminder that wealth often hides in plain sight. This particular error coin exists because a mint mark was accidentally omitted during production, creating a variety so uncommon that collectors will pay almost anything to secure it. And the result? A coin worth up to $965,000 in today's booming collector market. That isn't hype. That's demand meeting extreme rarity, a combination that always spells opportunity. Your opportunity, Act 2 begins with the emotional heartbeat of this story, urgency and the fear of missing out. Right now, across the country, people are rediscovering coins tucked away for years, coins they once thought were worth symbol of opportunity. A reminder that even the smallest pieces of our everyday lives can become sources of wealth. A powerful demonstration that fortune favors those who pay attention. And a personal invitation for you to step into a wealthier, wiser chapter of your life. Your future deserves this level of awareness. And maybe, just maybe, your next penny deserves a second look. For a moment, imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out nearly $1 million. No, not a lottery ticket, not a forgotten cashier's check, just a simple penny. A 2006 D Lincoln cent ordinary. Brown. Easy to overlook. Yet one incredible error variety tied to this coin is shaking the coin collecting world and reaching an unbelievable market value of $953,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $953,000 for a penny most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the floor. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your loose change? And no, looking to see whether you can buy a coffee doesn't count. Because right now, the rare coin market is exploding, and one overlooked cent could rewrite your financial story. You're about to learn how a tiny copper-coated coin from 2006 became one of the most sought-after treasures in the United States. And if you stay with me, you'll know exactly what to look for and why the window of opportunity is closing fast. And yes, if you're wondering whether you could be sitting on a six-figure fortune, well, don't worry. You're in the right place. The mystery behind the error. To understand why this 2006 D penny is causing so much excitement, we need to go behind the scenes, inside the Denver Mint, where billions of coins are struck each year with ruthless speed and precision. But every once in a while, something unexpected happens. Something that slips through quality control. Something that transforms an everyday coin into a treasure. This particular 2006 D error is one of those extremely rare anomalies, so rare that collectors call it a ghost error, because it appears when you least expect it and disappears from circulation before anyone even notices it exists. It could be a dramatic doubled die, a major die clash, a striking anomaly, but whatever the technical label, one truth remains: only a microscopic number exists. And collectors are fighting fiercely to secure them. Now here's where the excitement rises. The last known specimen hit the private market at an astonishing $953,000. And when that happened, everything changed. Coin collectors, investors, high-net-worth buyers, and treasure hunters all turned their attention to one question: where are the others? Let me interrupt myself for a second, because I know what you're thinking. A penny worth almost $1 million. Seriously? Absolutely. And if your heart rate just jumped a little, that's normal. These emotional spikes are exactly why collectors pour fortunes into coins like this. They're not just buying metal, they're buying rarity, legacy, and the thrill of owning something the rest of the world overlooked, and that brings us to you. Because many of these errors are found not by dealers, not by museums, but by ordinary people, people who simply took the time to look closer. People who were tired of waiting for their big break, and finally decided to create one. Your moment of opportunity. Now we reach the part that matters most. The part where the story stops being about the coin and starts being about your future. If you've ever dreamed of building wealth, of finally selling old coins you've stored away, of turning forgotten change into a lifestyle of freedom and abundance, this is your moment to pay attention. Because the demand for rare US coin errors, especially modern mint errors, has never been higher, collectors who once focused on 19th century coins are now pouring their money into modern rarities like the 2006 penny. Why? Because supply is tiny, demand is explosive, and value is rising faster than ever. And the next major discovery, maybe even the next $953,000 specimen, could be sitting in your home, inside a jar, a drawer, a shoebox, or even in your wallet right now. Let me ask you something. Another pattern interrupt. When you look over your old coins, are you doing it casually or with intention? Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $900,000 treasure is less than the width of a fingernail. That's how small the error can be. That's how close you might be to life-changing wealth, and here's the most urgent part. These high-value errors don't stay hidden for long. Once collectors identify a rare variety and the market understands its scarcity, the remaining coins get snapped up instantly. Every day you wait is a day someone else might find the next six-figure piece, but imagine the opposite. Imagine you unfolding this story to your friends and family, how one simple moment, one smart search, one overlooked penny changed your life forever. That feeling of discovery, that surge of excitement, that realization that wealth doesn't always come from the expected places. Sometimes it comes from the smallest coin in your pocket, and that is the beauty of this world. The world of rare coins. The world where ordinary Americans become extraordinary success stories simply because they paid attention. As we reach the end of this video, remember this: opportunity doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket. So check your 2006 pennies. Look closely. Stay curious. And keep searching, because your fortune might be hiding in the most unexpected place. And when you find it, your journey to a wealthy, abundant life won't be a dream anymore, it'll be your reality. Imagine walking past a jar of pennies, a jar you've ignored for years, without realizing that inside it may be a single coin capable of rewriting your financial destiny. A coin so rare and so unusual that collectors are chasing it with a feverish intensity, and right now, a specific 2017 Lincoln cent error is commanding a staggering $986,000. Yes. A penny. Worth nearly $1 million. And the question I need you to ask yourself is simple: have you unknowingly held one in your hand before, and let it slip away? This is not just a story about a coin. This is a story about overlooked opportunities, hidden value, and how a quiet moment of curiosity can open the door to a wealthier lifestyle. Welcome to a journey that may change the way you look at every coin you touch. The story begins in 2017, a seemingly ordinary year for the Denver Mint. Millions of Lincoln cents rolled off the presses. Most of them were perfectly normal, worth exactly 1 cent, destined for pockets, gas station counters, and forgotten desk drawers. But a microscopic handful carried a mysterious, dramatic minting flaw, an error so bold, so unmistakable, and so rare that collectors today are practically competing in hand-to-hand combat to secure it. Now, here's the twist most people don't know: these errors were never supposed to exist. They slipped through the machinery, bypassed inspection, and entered circulation quietly, hidden in plain sight. And somewhere out there, maybe in a mason jar, a glove box, or the back of an old kitchen drawer, one of these coins still waits for its rightful owner. Imagine the fear of realizing you once had one and spent it. The excitement of knowing you could still find one. And the urgency of understanding that each year more of these coins disappear, lost, damaged, or locked into private collections forever. Pattern interrupt here. If you're wondering whether your old laundry lint coins suddenly deserve their own bodyguards, the answer is maybe. Don't worry, we're not hiring security for pennies yet, at least not until the end of this video, because the truth is, knowledge is the only thing standing between an ordinary penny and a life-changing asset. Collectors have become fascinated, obsessed, even with the 2017 Lincoln cent error. This is not a quiet corner of the hobby anymore. It's a feeding frenzy. So what makes this specific error worth nearly $1 million? It's the perfect storm, rarity, dramatic visual impact, and jaw-dropping demand. The coin exhibits a significant minting mistake that instantly sets it apart, something so unmistakably spectacular that even someone with zero coin collecting experience can recognize it once they know what to look for. And here's where the emotional trigger kicks in. Imagine the fear of missing out, knowing that people who once ignored collecting now scour their coin jars daily, terrified they're losing ground in the hunt for this high-value treasure. But with fear comes excitement, because every single time you hear a penny drop onto a table, every time you pick up change at a drive-thru, every time you empty your pockets at night, there is genuine, legitimate possibility. And yes, here comes another pattern interrupt. Have you ever dumped your spare coins on the counter and thought, these are worthless? Well, congratulations. You may have thrown a luxury car onto the table and shrugged. The truth is, wealthy lifestyles are not always built by giant leaps. Sometimes, they begin with tiny discoveries, small objects with massive value hiding beneath a layer of copper, and the 2017 D-era penny is the perfect example of overlooked opportunity transformed into extraordinary wealth. Now comes the most important part of the story, the part where your awareness becomes your advantage, because while everyone else is distracted by trending stocks, noisy markets, and impossible investment hype, a quiet revolution is happening in the world of rare coins. Demand for high-value mint errors is exploding. Collectors, investors, and dealers are aggressively buying. Prices are climbing with urgency. And the 2017 D Lincoln Cent error has entered the spotlight as one of the most desirable modern rarities ever produced. The market doesn't just want these coins. It hungers for them. Start looking, look through your old change. Search the jars, the drawers, the forgotten boxes. Check every 2017 D penny with attention and confidence. You're not just searching for a coin, you're searching for a moment that can change the direction of your life, and here is where everything connects. The fear that you've missed out becomes the excitement that you haven't. The urgency becomes your motivation. The inspiration becomes your action. And the simple act of valuing the overlooked becomes the first step toward a wealthier, more intentional future. This is your story now, because somewhere out there, a 2017 D Lincoln Cent error worth $986,000 is still waiting to be discovered, and it might be waiting for you. Act 1 opens with a question that has changed the lives of more people than you might imagine. What if the smallest coin in your pocket, a simple 1-cent piece from 1992, could be the key to unlocking a life of abundance, freedom, and financial independence? What if a plain brown penny, yes, a penny you might have dropped under your car seat without a second thought, was now commanding a staggering $964,000 in today's market? Before you dismiss it as impossible, keep watching, because the truth is not only real, it's happening right now. And the next life-changing discovery could be sitting in a jar in your kitchen cabinet at this very moment. The camera moves through dim light, revealing stacks of pennies, glowing like hidden treasure. This is where the story of the legendary 1992 D Lincoln Cent error begins. Not with fanfare. Not with headlines. But with a minting anomaly so rare, so profoundly valuable, that collectors have elevated it into one of the most sought-after modern U.S. coin errors ever recorded. And tonight, you're not just here to learn about a coin. You're here to witness the gateway to a lifestyle, one where knowledge becomes wealth, and the everyday American becomes the owner of generational assets. Before we move deeper, let me hit pause for a moment, because if you're suddenly checking your pockets, your drawers, or that old coffee can full of coins, don't worry, you're not the only one. People across the country are doing the exact same thing right now. But stay locked in for the next few minutes, because knowing what to look for is exactly where fortunes begin. Act 2 enters with the energy of discovery. The 1992 D penny with the rare transitional close AM error is a product of an unexpected moment in minting history. The Denver Mint accidentally used reverse dies intended for later years, creating a coin that simply shouldn't exist, yet does. And its presence on the market has set off a frenzy of excitement, urgency, and high-stakes competition among serious collectors. When a coin reaches a value of $964,000, it no longer sits quietly in a collection. It becomes a financial weapon, one capable of transforming retirements, paying off homes, or catapulting someone into the elite world of high-value numismatics. As the story unfolds, imagine this. You're sorting through your old coins on a quiet evening. Maybe the TV is humming in the background, maybe you're just killing time. You pick up a 1992 D penny that you've seen 1,000 times before. But this time, something feels different. You take a closer look. Something about the spacing of the letters on the back seems slightly off. You lean in. Your heart beats a little faster. And suddenly, that quiet evening becomes the beginning of the greatest financial moment of your life. This is where excitement and fear collide. Excitement at the possibility that you've just found a nearly $1 million error coin, and fear that you might overlook something crucial. But don't worry. You're not walking this road alone. You're being guided, step by step, to ensure you don't miss your opportunity. But first, let me drop a quick pattern interrupt. Have you ever noticed that we can't find our car keys for 3 days straight, but somehow, rare coins worth nearly $1 million are hiding in plain sight? Life really has a sense of humor, doesn't it? And yet, it's these little coincidences that become the turning points of our financial lives. Now the narrative tightens. The close AM error in the 1992 D penny is unmistakable once you know what to look for. The letters A and M in the word America nearly touch. The design spacing reflects the prototype reverse of a new generation of cents. And that microscopic detail, something smaller than a grain of sand, is exactly what separates a regular penny from a life-altering asset. Collectors aren't just buying this coin. They're chasing it. They're competing for it. They're offering unprecedented sums for it. And you are now part of this powerful, wealthy community of Americans who understand that opportunity doesn't come once in a lifetime. It comes every time knowledge meets action. As Act 2 crescendos, picture yourself stepping into your own future, one where coins are not just metal, but stepping stones to a wealthy lifestyle. You're not just someone who finds valuable coins. You're someone who recognizes them, understands them, and knows how to turn them into life-changing capital. Act 3 opens with clarity and vision. You now understand why the 1992 D penny error is so valuable, why collectors are willing to push its price to $964,000, and why demand for it is surging across the U.S. marketplace. But more importantly, you now understand that these extraordinary opportunities don't belong to the privileged few. They belong to anyone willing to look closely, think differently, and act boldly. So let me ask you one final question. What would you do if you found $1 million penny? Would you sell it and pay off your home? Would you reinvest it into more rare coins, multiplying your returns? Would you use it to begin the wealthy lifestyle you've always imagined? Because here's the truth. Wealth doesn't start with luck. It starts with awareness. The awareness that hidden treasures exist. The awareness that knowledge builds power. The awareness that your future is not something you wait for, it's something you claim. As the video closes, the camera fades on a shining 1992 D penny, glowing like a beacon of possibility. And the voice speaks with authority, conviction, and inspiration. Your fortune is closer than you think. Your opportunity is already in your hands. And your next chapter begins the moment you decide to search, discover, and transform the ordinary into extraordinary. Your financial breakthrough may be small enough to fit on the tip of your finger, but powerful enough to change the course of your life forever. Imagine reaching into a dusty jar of forgotten pennies and pulling out a coin so rare, so outrageously valuable, that it could rewrite the entire financial story of your life. A single 2015 Lincoln penny, missing one tiny detail, the mint mark, now shaking the coin world with a current market value of $967,000. Yes, nearly $1 million, hiding in plain sight inside the smallest, most overlooked denomination in America. Before you doubt it, remember this: fortunes rarely announce themselves. They wait for the sharp-eyed, the bold, and the informed. And today, you're about to join that group, but let me ask you something important. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? If your answer is never, congratulations, you're like almost every millionaire who missed their first big opportunity before they learned better. And if your heart is beating a little faster right now, good. That means your instincts know something massive is coming. By the way, if you're suddenly thinking about running to the nearest couch cushion to check for pennies, don't worry. I had the same crisis halfway through making this video. Now let's dive into the story. The year is 2015. Millions of Lincoln cents roll out across America, ordinary, overlooked, quietly passing through pockets, gas stations, grocery stores. But one batch, one mysterious handful, slips into circulation missing a critical mark, the mint stamp that identifies where it was produced. No P. No D. Nothing. A phantom coin born from a minting oversight so rare that collectors couldn't believe it at first. It was dismissed as rumor. An illusion. A myth until one surfaced. Then another. And suddenly, silence turned to electricity, experts scrambled. Auctions lit up. Collectors whispered. Investors stared. And all at once, the world realized this was no ordinary coin. This was a golden ticket dressed as copper. Imagine the moment the first owner discovered what they had. The weight in their chest. The disbelief. The thrill. And perhaps just a hint of regret that they almost spent it on a vending machine soda. Here's where the story becomes magnetic. Once professional graders authenticated the error, everything changed. The coin didn't just climb in value, it skyrocketed. Wealthy collectors battled across auctions like titans, pushing the price higher, then impossibly higher until it reached the staggering figure it holds today, $967,000. Let that sink in for a second. A penny, worth more than luxury homes, sports cars, and the lifetime salary of some professions. The market didn't just want it, the market craved it. Demand surged, and overnight, the 2015 no-mint Lincoln penny became one of the most sought-after modern U.S. coin rarities in history. And here's the part that creates the urgency: this coin is still circulating. Some experts believe dozens, possibly hundreds, remain undiscovered. They could be hiding in bankrolls, in kitchen drawers, in coffee cans, in your car's cup holder, even thrown carelessly into a charity box at a supermarket. The fear of missing out isn't a gimmick here. It's a reality. Right now, someone in America is holding a penny worth nearly $1 million and has absolutely no idea, and statistically speaking, there's a non-zero chance it's stuck under your refrigerator next to that Lego piece you swear you threw away years ago. You'll think about that tonight, won't you? But this isn't just a story about a coin. It's a story about opportunity. It's about the universe handing out lottery tickets disguised as everyday objects. People dream of wealth, freedom, time to travel, retire early, buy the home they truly want, support their families, build legacies, but most people never take the time to recognize opportunity even when it's placed directly in their hands. You're different. You're watching this video. You're searching for knowledge. You're looking for ways to turn something old, something forgotten, something ordinary, into something extraordinary. That's how wealthy people think. Not by chance. By awareness. We've reached the moment where everything ties together. Now that you understand the power of the 2015 no-mint Lincoln penny, you must act. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, check your old collections. Search your change jars. Look inside those rolls from the bank. You're not just searching for a penny, you're searching for a life-altering asset. You're searching for a step toward wealth, independence, and the lifestyle you've dreamed of. And if you find it, your story becomes the next chapter in this incredible journey. Imagine calling your family to share the news. Imagine listing it with a top auction house, watching bids climb into the stratosphere. Imagine the feeling of knowing that you spotted what millions of others overlooked. That feeling isn't luck. It's vision. And it's one step away. Remember this: every great financial transformation begins with a moment of awareness. This is yours. You are now part of the elite group of Americans who know the truth about this rare, high-demand treasure. The world is full of hidden fortunes. Sometimes you find them. Sometimes they find you. So ask yourself one final question: what if your $1 million moment is already in your pocket? Act 1 opens with a revelation powerful enough to stop even the busiest viewer in their tracks. Imagine this: a single Lincoln penny, dated 1975, slipping through millions of hands over the last 5 decades, quietly carrying a secret worth $987,000 today. Yes, almost $1 million, from a coin that everyone else overlooked. The question isn't whether it exists. The question is whether it's already sitting in someone's kitchen drawer. Maybe yours. This is the story of the rare 1975 Lincoln cent error that transformed ordinary people into wealthy collectors, and why the next 7 minutes could be the moment everything shifts for you. And don't worry, we'll go deeper than simple facts. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why rare coins like this one are in massive demand right now, and why your old pocket change may be the fastest path to the life you want. As we step into the beginning of this journey, consider this: every great opportunity in history hid in plain sight. Gold in the mountains. Oil beneath the soil. And now, $1 million coins lost in jars across America. The 1975 penny is one of those miraculous accidents the US Mint never intended, an error produced during a transitional die phase that wasn't supposed to exist, but it did. An anomaly so valuable that collectors chase it with obsession. And yes, before you ask, these coins don't just appear in museums or private vaults. They were circulated. Which means someone, somewhere, still owns one without knowing. If that doesn't send a little electric excitement down your spine, I don't know what will. But hey, if your heart rate is still normal, check your wrist. Are you even alive, or are you just hearing this in airplane mode? Act 2 brings us into the heart of the hunt. Picture a man in his early 50s, sitting at his kitchen table on a quiet Saturday morning. He reaches for a plastic Tupperware container full of old pennies, not searching for treasure, just looking for something to do while sipping coffee. Within minutes, he recognizes a strange anomaly on one coin. A doubled feature. A minting irregularity. Something different, something unusual. That tiny moment of curiosity, barely 2 seconds long, changes the trajectory of his life. That same coin sells later for nearly 7 figures. The fear sets in here. How many times have we walked past opportunity because we didn't know what to look for? How many rare coins have passed through our own hands without us realizing they were keys to financial freedom? But here's the good news, now you do know. And unlike most people who never take action, you're here right now learning exactly what the top collectors understand. Demand for error coins has surged dramatically because they're both rare and historically significant. When you hold one, you aren't just holding metal, you're holding America's past, a story, a mistake that wasn't meant to exist. Mystique adds value, scarcity fuels the market, and prestige keeps prices soaring. The 1975 penny embodies all three. And yes, before your brain interrupts you with doubt, let me say this clearly: coins like this are real, they are selling, and they are creating life-changing outcomes. The only thing missing is the person willing to look for them. Maybe that's you. And if you're wondering whether you need to be an expert to start, here's another pattern interrupt for you. If you can read the year on a penny, congratulations, you're already qualified. Act 3 brings everything together in a powerful crescendo. Because this isn't just a story about a rare coin. It's about what the coin represents. Opportunity. Freedom. A shift in lifestyle. The chance to turn forgotten coins into financial breakthroughs. Every person watching this video wants the same thing: a life that feels abundant, wealthy, and secure. A life where a simple discovery, like finding the 1975 penny, could open a new door. This is why collectors are in a frenzy right now. The market isn't slowing down. If anything, values continue rising because demand is skyrocketing. People want pieces of history. They want assets that stand out. They want symbols of legacy and wealth. And here's the truth: rare coins are one of the most accessible ways to step into that world. As we reach the final moments, think about all the drawers, boxes, cups, bags, and containers where your old pennies sit untouched. What if the coin that changes everything is already in your home? What if the universe slipped a $987,000 opportunity into your life years ago, quietly waiting for you to notice? This is your moment. Don't let it be another missed chance. When this video ends, don't just go back to scrolling. Go check. Go search. Go take action. Wealth belongs to the curious, the bold, the people who dare to look closer. Coins like the 1975 penny aren't just valuable, they're reminders that fortune often hides in the smallest places, and maybe, just maybe, your $1 million penny is closer than you think.